Hey, good morning, my friends. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torgrosa. The MLive Morning Weather Update. If you're just joining me, if you could please hit the share button, I would appreciate it very much. And yes, it snowed in Marquette. Um, the tone of my voice has to start to change to let you know it's reality that winter will be here someday, and you know, it's going to hold off a bit, but it's sooner rather than later. You know that. Let's start. Are you ready? Are you seated? Do you want to see some snow? Here's the picture from the National Weather Service office in Marquette overnight. And there it is. So get ready because it's happening. So, yeah, they had a dusting or half inch or so. And right now, officially, Bel Air in northwest lower Michigan is reporting flurries, but that's an automated site, so it may not necessarily be correct. Yeah, we've done great things in meteorology for advancements in technology modeling and whatnot. We still have not gotten a great automated weather observation system better than the human eye. In the past, uh, 20, 30 years ago, they used to employ what were called weather observers at all of the official sites, like most airports. And the weather observer every hour would go out and say, oh, visibility is 2 miles. Oh, light snow is falling. And then send that observation out, what we call a weather observation. And obviously, every field wants to get rid of as many human beings working as possible. So they went to automated weather stations that took temperature, pressure, and all those are great. And it gave us a lot more stations, but the observation of the actual type of precept still somewhat elusive and unbelievable from the automated stations. But this isn't. This is a picture from the forecasters at the Weather Service, and it shows snow in Marquette overnight. All right. Michael Predmore's got a nice little fire going at home. Love having a fireplace. Yes, that's great. All right. So, satellite picture shows the clouds clearing in the southeast. We've got sunshine in the center part of the state, and then notice the streaky clouds in the wind, and that is, of course, the lake effect precipitation. 99% all rain now, especially during the daylight hours, but that's on a north wind. So, eastern part of the thumb, you're going to be showery. South end of Lake Michigan, you're going to be showery. This at the very south end, toward Indiana. Off of northern Lake Michigan into the Grand Traverse area, the Traverse City area, Leelanau County, Benzie County. You're going to have streaks of some showers today as it's cold enough aloft and the lakes are still relatively warm that we could set up fairly substantial bursts of rain. But again, in the lake effect pattern, they're off and on. Or you get under one of these streaks and you get soaked, and then you get out of it and you see even a little bit of sunshine. Wanda Miller, will there be snow for Halloween? That's pretty far out to tell, to be honest. Halloween, by the way, is around the date where lower Michigan typically sees some of its first flakes. Here's the radar. And again, you can see where it's raining on a north wind with the lake effect. So around the Traverse City area, expect a showery day. Around the eastern part of the thumb, expect a showery day. Northeast lower is even getting on a north wind. There's enough instability that Alpena, Oscoda, Rogers City, Presque County, you're getting showers. Now, let's look at the radar forecast to show you when that breaks down. And when does lake effect break down? It breaks down and ends when the temperatures aloft warm and the wind direction changes. So you'll see that in this. So we go through the afternoon, and there you have it. Still showers, spotty around the Traverse City area, and showers in the eastern part of the thumb into the afternoon. We go into the evening. As the wind turns more northwesterly, Then the showers start to creep into scattered areas of northwest lower like Bel Air and Kalkaska and Lake City and the Grand Traverse area still, maybe Petoskey and Charlevoix. By overnight, maybe some showers in the north. That keeps you out of a freeze. If you keep lake effect clouds in the north, that keeps you out of a freeze. But otherwise, we're looking for the widespread freeze. I'll show that to you in just a moment. And then as we go into tomorrow, should be dry. The exception is still with cold air aloft, you could get a very brief shower up north. But I think it is a good weekend to head northward because the main thing you don't want to have is clouds and rain when you're looking at leaves. And I'll be updating you on that. But if you don't get to read my post, the long story short is the fall color is developing rapidly. We had a cold morning last week, and now a lot of reports of rapidly developing color. It's vibrant too. It's about 25% changed to, if you get into the UP, maybe 50% changed and changing quickly. So I'm saying that peak is probably mid next week into next weekend. Next weekend will be a good weekend to plan for the drive if you only want to make one drive. But heck, why wouldn't we want to make two drives, right? This weekend and next weekend. And remember, in the Traverse City area, with the warm temperatures, you get kind of a bonus weekend after that. So you can almost get 3 weekends in a row if you want to go northward. Here's the European model in the long term. So we go into this weekend dry. We've been watching a little skiff of rain come through on Monday, and that's gone now. So that's been in the weakening phase. John Curmudgeon says the color is really starting to pop here in Benzie County. So you would agree, right? Accelerating, very quickly developing color. Now we're into next week. We're back into a southwesterly flow on Tuesday. Our next cold front, Wednesday. And then our next cold blast behind it. Thursday looks like a day much like today, maybe even more showery as the colder air comes in a little bit deeper. So we got some chilly temperatures a couple of days late next week. Now, what I want to caution you about is we show you the models, okay? They're very good at next 5 days, 6, 7 days. As we get into weather pattern changes from one season to the other, summer to fall, fall to winter, there's a lot more going on that the models have to pick up on. So when we get out to 8, 9, 10 days in the weather pattern change parts of the season, there's something you look at as possibly a trend that creeps into a time when we would believe it, 5, 6, 7 days. And so that's what I'm going to show you now. 8, 9, 10 days shows it's going to get cold. This model, great model, the European, better than the US model still, has a bias or a pitfall of being too cold out into the future. So it may be over forecasting cold, but the point being is it shows that every cold blast now is going to do like it should and be a little bit colder than the last. So where I'm setting myself up here is let's look out at next weekend. And, we have a cold front coming through. The timing could be off, but look behind that. So this would be October 16th. Look behind that. The cold pocket, the blue lines, getting bigger. All right, Patty Mulketon. Supposed to have new cement poured next Wednesday. Weather going to cooperate. That's when the cold front next Wednesday, that's when a cold front will be approaching, but the cement people are very good at covering things. So I don't see it as something that's too cold where a person that does, pours concrete would say, no, we're done for the season. So I think it'd be all right. You just have to watch the weather as it gets closer. Low temperatures tomorrow morning. I would call it 28 to 32 in many spots. If you stayed at 34, I wouldn't be surprised, but most spots will have your first frost and or freeze, except maybe the urban heat islands right in the Detroit area and maybe along the western shoreline, certainly with a west wind developing tonight, you could stay quite a bit warmer at Manistee, Ludington, Muskegon, Grand Haven, South Haven, Saugatuck. You could stay 40 degrees. And you can see that also on Sunday on a west wind in the morning. You could stay quite a bit warmer. You can almost get a feel for where the lake effect clouds are when we look at our cold temperatures in the morning in Michigan. It's kind of amazing. You see the flow, and that's where what I call the marine layer, the air that's on top of the water, has drifted in. So that marine layer will make it to Saginaw and Bay City by Sunday morning, keeping out of the frost and freeze. But you've had it already by Saturday morning. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, we pop up ahead of the cold front, and then Thursday. And what do I have here for you? High temperatures. Today only going to be 50 degrees. Margaret Parker, when will we see a hard freeze in lower Michigan? I would call it tomorrow morning, depending on where you're at. I think 90% of the area will have a hard freeze tomorrow morning, at least be 30 degrees or so. Then Saturday, we're in the 50s. Sunday, we're in the 50s. Monday, heading towards 60. 70 on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then the cold front again coming in, and some colder temperatures. And I just wanted to show you one last thing. What I showed you for low temperatures was the human-made forecast from the National Weather Service. Now I want to show you that model because it goes out farther, just to see what we have coming on the way. And where I'm going with this is I'm starting to get a lot of questions about, when do I need to winterize my camper? When do I need to winterize my boat? When do I need to winterize my cabin up north? Cabin up north is going to hold a lot more heat for, a week or two than a boat or a camper. So just take a look, and I'd say you better just think about getting it done here in the next 10 days. Tomorrow's quick freeze probably doesn't affect a camper or a boat, but let's go out to Saturday of next weekend. Let's go out to Sunday, October 16th, when the cold air could supposedly hit. Again, remember, prefacing that this is 10 days out, and you can see the area of cold, which means that would be, the following day would be a day when we would be down into the 20s. So I think if you have a camper, I think you have next week to do it, but you'll want to have her done by then, because it does appear as though there's enough cold air up there that it'll continue to come down in a regular progression. Is that not a monster weather update? Sorry, I probably lost people. Probably people fell over off their couch and they're asleep on the floor by the time I get done. Maybe I should just cut these to 1 minute like the TV stations and say, hey, partly sunny, the weekend looks good, see you later, bye. I can't do that. I'm addicted to weather. So you probably are too if you're watching. Hey, thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. Tina Shea, thanks for watching from Charlotte. I know how to pronounce Charlotte. My sister-in-law teaches there. Yeah, teaches in Charlotte. So take care. Have yourself a great weekend. We're going to our house in Florida this weekend. Insurance adjuster damage. It made it through. We lost, we need a new roof. We need a new pool cage. We have some water inside on a couple of walls where the rain got up under the soffit, and it looks like some of the drywall got wet. So, but we're very fortunate. My wife and I were very thankful for all of your thoughts and prayers. We know there's a lot of people that are homeless and live there. This is our secondary retirement dream home. So, we're feeling very blessed, but it's going to take a lot of my time. So I told MLive I need next week off because I know it's just going to be a a big old mess talking to insurance adjusters and contractors and all of that stuff. Let's see if you're hanging on here. Let's see if I can I get some. I can't get some pictures up quickly. So I probably won't see you next week. And I'll be back in Michigan and back at her the following week. So take care, get the boat and camper winterized, and get ready. Get mentally ready, folks. Take care. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa.